Contrarians, and we are live. It's time for Battle of the Rock. Tonight, Judas Priest Nostradamus is taking on Kiss. Music from the Elder. We want to hear from you in the chat. Which is your favorite? Let's do it. Hey, everybody, we are live. It's a beautiful Thursday here in Ohio. Kind of. I don't know. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. But tonight, we are doing a Battle of the Rock. We are going to take a look at Nostradamus by Judas Priest going against Kiss, the Elder. Look at this fine panel tonight. We've got Gary. We've got Dan. We've got the Elder of Rock. And we are going to talk about this. And we want to hear from you in the chat. We only have 13 people watching. What the freaking shit? Let's go. Let's get this going. I want this to be a good interactive conversation with everybody because both of these albums are very polarizing. Well, I love the Elder, so I'm just saying. But Nostradamus, Judas Priest fans are going, yeah, some Kiss fans are going, I think at the Elder, I think it's more Kiss going, than actual fans. So anyway, we're going to look at these. We want to hear from you. What we're going to do is start out with Judas Priest. Now, we already did a Nostradamus episode before. And it was the same damn panel. So, I mean, we probably don't have to really go into it. Well, I'm just going to let the panel decide how they want to approach it. So we'll talk about Nostradamus first, and then we'll talk about Kiss the Elder. So, gentlemen, give your brief synopsis. If you like Nostradamus, whether you don't, your rating out of 10, and then we will turn it over to the people in the chat to get their rating. Everyone knows how this works. So, all right, I'm going to start out with, I think I'm just going to go clockwise. Gary, I can't talk. Gary, Dan, the Elder, and then myself, and let's just do it. All right, Gary, start us off.
So, yeah, we did Nostradamus a couple months ago, and if anyone remembers that, I love Nostradamus.
Right.
So I think it won't come as any surprise that that's the album I'm picking. But it's just genius. There's so many great solos on it. The 2 hours, it just washes over you. The whole concept, it's
you're
fantastic.
Good. You're good. Is that Cam?
Yeah, a lot of great songs on this.
All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Sorry, Gary. Ladies and gentlemen, Cam's here too. So
sorry, I'm late.
Cam was Cam on the show before? He wasn't.
No,
he was on our last show, and
yeah,
he's
so he hasn't talked about Nostradamus yet.
Right. Well, this is going to be good then because we have a new, fresh voice.
Yes.
All right, Cam, welcome. Glad you're here. All right, Gary. Sorry about that, but we are live, and go ahead.
It's all good. Glad to have you, Cam.
There you go.
For having me, guys, again.
Nostradamus is brilliant. I wish they would have leaned into it a little more. I wish they would have played some more songs from it live. There's great solos all over the thing. As far as timing, maybe it wasn't the best that it was 2008. But I also think, where else would they have done a big concept album like this? Let's imagine they did it like the mid-90s as a follow-up to Painkiller if Halford Never Left. I don't know if that would have done them any better than it was in 2008. They got a good, kind of more weathered sound, and I think them right at that age, they put out the best album they could. I love Nostradamus. It's tremendous.
And I forget what you rate. Did we do a rating the last time?
Yeah.
Because did we go around like that? But we didn't have anybody live. Okay.
I gave it a 10.
You gave it a 10. All right.
I still stand by that. I think it's better than any Priest albums after Screaming for Vengeance. I love Nostradamus. It's better than Painkiller. It's better than Defenders of the Faith, all that.
I should have did the intro better, but I'm just a monkey with fiber optic cable. But if you don't know what Nostradamus is, it was the 16th studio album by Judas Priest, and it was released June 16th, 2008, and it was a double disc concept album. And you guessed what the topic is. So I probably should have said that. But just living and loving over here in the warehouse. Anyway, so we got a 10. All right, let's throw it over to Dan. Dan, what's your thoughts and your rating?
And didn't we say also last time we did this that it also exists on vinyl on 3 vinyl, or was
Yep.
it 4?
You said it was a 3 pressed on
vinyl.
3 slabs. Yeah.
And I almost bought it that day when I bought my CD. And was like, but nah, I should have. But anyway.
But didn't someone say that one side's blank, or am I thinking of something else? Is it?
Yeah, it's all too. Maybe it's another album.
I don't know.
It's
It might have been
definitely
another
long
album.
enough to take up 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
Anyway.
was like, one side, and then the second disc is 2 sides, and then the third album is only 1 side or something.
Kevin thinks there's great guitar work on Nostradamus, and it crushes the Elder. I don't know. I don't know how you can crush Ace Frehley.
You got to have the patience for it, but it is in there. When you get to those great guitar solos, it will blow you away.
Yeah, because I think when I was listening to Nostradamus, I was thinking I almost had to listen to it in sections. Couldn't listen to it all at once. Anyway, all right. Sorry, it's not about me. It's about Dan. Dan, what's your deal, and what's your rating out of 10? So we have a 10 already. All right.
I do like Nostradamus a lot. I did at the time give it a 7, and I still do give it a 7 out of 10. I've always thought that Judas Priest were quite trendy. I don't find this album to be trendy at all. I think this is an original one, very original here. Now, and I still stick with this here. For people who are not think this is too long or too overblown or whatever, a great way, and my friends have done it, is take out all those intro or those
interludes.
The interludes.
Connect, or somebody used connector in the episode that we did for the Dark Horse, but interludes. Take off all the interludes, and you've got a very strong, decent album just like that. So if you find it too long, just take off the interludes. Make yourself a little iTunes mix. I don't know, but sorry, it's upside down. But I still like the album a lot. I think it's, and we talked about this last time. Just like the Elder, I bet you in 10, 20 years, people are being like, you know what? This is actually not too bad at all. It's probably going to be one of those albums that's going to take a lot of time, like the Elder, and I'll get more into the Elder later on there. But still a 7 out of 10 for me.
All right.
Very fresh, original, and I don't find them to be trendy in this one. They're following their own path as opposed to doing what other people were doing. So there you go.
Yeah, I kind of think it's going to be that way. I think once people catch on and they actually look at it after all these years, people are going to go, well, why were we all bitching about this record? It's actually not bad at all. Wow.
Exactly.
Well,
when you consider the
Martin always
alternative.
says it's because we've listened to everything else a million times. So you pick up this album.
What if you came in
and
cold
go,
and
"Oh."
listened to this? And don't compare it to anything else. That's
Cool.
the thing.
Yeah.
Kevin, anybody, if you want to give me your ratings, I can host and keep track. And I just, if you have your rating out of 10, I'm ready. So anytime you guys are ready, go ahead, Dan. You have anything more to add?
I actually forgot.
That's all right. We're loose. It's loose tonight.
You can jump in if you think about it.
Yeah, you can always
just lost my train of thought. Go on to the next person there. If I think
right.
of it, I'll
look at
you were saying like you hope it was 10 to 12 years, or whatever. You hope it.
Young
catches
Logan's going
on.
3.
Kind of like,
Well, I do think that this will age well.
I do too.
Definitely.
I think it already has.
I think we said that in the other show.
I just don't understand the hatred for it. It's some of my friends were like,
I don't.
Oh, they didn't even bother, or they listened to it once. This is a grower of an album. Let's be honest here. It needs your full attention. You need to spend. I think I joked last time that you just need to put yourself in a corner with a bathrobe and a pipe, and then in a study, and then listen to it like that.
I can't take both. All I'm
Man.
doing is taking scores for Nostradamus, ladies and gentlemen, one album at a time.
Yeah.
Not that good. Not that good. So just give me Nostradamus. I will let you know when it's time. When we switch to the Elder, there you go. Then you can do it. I appreciate everybody's ambition. you know, I do. I'd give you an A+.
With an album with this much atmosphere, like when I'm listening to it, it's like I feel like I'm in a music video, you know, like Dan Sam with the smoking in the bathrobe. I'll like go outside and pick up some dirt or something, and it's just Nostradamus is spectacular.
Yeah. But it needs your full attention.
Come on, man. A 0? Come, Kiefer.
No.
You're going to break Gary's heart. He gave that a 10.
What does Kiefer rate Demolition then?
What do you rate Demolition? Demolition.
Yeah. Yes.
I'd like to. That's a good question.
It's a rough one.
Calm down, Logan. I know you have to go to bed, but I'm not ready for you yet. When I asked for it, I got it. All right. We got another 7 from Nostradamus. All right. We got it. Anyway, Elder, go ahead. Give us your thoughts and your rating.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the thing with I like that when Gary and Cam are here because they're younger than us, not much, but
oh no, a lot.
But
I could die tomorrow.
But I like it because they don't have the nostalgia attached to like the albums like we grew up with, like British Steel and Screaming for Vengeance and stuff, and so maybe it's more of an honest type of review of it because for us it's like. Yeah, I mean Nostradamus, I don't mind it. I'd rather listen to it than Turbo or Ram It Down or Demolition. But just to like it's kind of sacrilege for us to put it above Painkiller and Screaming for Vengeance and stuff. So, but in that essence, what I'll say about this album is that I think one of the main differences between this and The Elder is that this isn't Judas Priest trying to run away from being Judas Priest. This is just Judas Priest doing a concept album. Whereas I think Kiss was trying to get away from being Kiss. They were just like, so this is just Judas Priest doing a concept album, wanting to do something different, but you can put this on and still tell it's Judas Priest. You can still put it on. Most of the songs on here sound like Judas Priest. Rob Halford and his voice and the guitar work on it, definitely is still them. So it's just them doing a concept album. And listening to it again, I did like this a little bit better than the last time I listened to it. It's really weird. I'll go back and forth. I like it. I won't like it. But I liked it this last time listening to it. And so I think the only difference, and like I think Gary brought this up last time, was that there isn't the traditional Judas Priest logo on it. So it's going to be a different Judas Priest album. But other than that, it's them. And there's still songs on here that will go, right. Could be on another Judas Priest album, some of the heavier songs. And this isn't too different a territory for Judas Priest to sing about some kind of worldly figure, or like, they always have like a Hellion or a Metallion or something like that on their albums where they kind of sing about the Painkiller, the Redeemer of Souls. So it's not really that much different for them to be singing about a character. This time it just happens to be somebody that's actually existed than a fictional character, So anyway, so this album though, I guess I'll give this album a 7 this time. I might have gave it a 6 last time. I think I'll give it a 7 this time.
You did, yeah.
So,
all right, it's looking better. Excellent, Elder. I agree with everything you said. All right, awesome. We're going to get a fresh new take from Cam.
Yeah.
So Cam, welcome back again. Nice to have you back on the show. We always like new blood on here, man. It keeps it fresh. And, welcome back. What's your thoughts on Nostradamus and what's your rating out of 10?
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me again. Sorry for the delay. Also, my internet literally crapped out at 7:59 and I was scrambling to get it going again. So appreciate you guys waiting.
We started anyway because we were live. So we didn't wait for you.
It's okay. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me. So Nostradamus, just like you said, Grant, fresh eyes, not a bias towards any particular era, really. Although I really love everything from Judas Priest. I'm a huge Judas Priest, fan. I love Judas Priest. I listened to Nostradamus for the first time probably back around 15 or 16, like right around the time I was getting out of high school. And I liked it then. I was younger. I didn't quite have the patience for it. But there was moments in there that I could appreciate a lot. And revisiting it for this, it was actually a little better than I thought it was going to be. I think there's some really, really cool musical moments in this album. And honestly, it's too damn long, like period. It's just way too long. And I think that's really what kind of kills it for most people. I think if this album was only 45 minutes or even 50 minutes, I think a lot of people would probably warm to it a lot more. But I mean, when you do a very out there concept like this that is pretty far removed from what Judas Priest normally does, at least from a topic standpoint, and then you make it way longer than any other Judas Priest album, that is going to turn people away. So I think that's people's problem with it. But if you just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to listen to this album with a beer or whatever, and I'm going to do nothing but just sit here and listen to this album with some good headphones. It's a really cool album. There's cool stuff in here. And Rob is just like, this is not an album of just like meandering and just kind of like, yeah, we're just doing this for this movie and we're all doing coke and drunk all the time. And we got 12 girls on each arm and our producer's doing coke too. And we don't even know where he is. Like, no, this is a band that's, everyone wants to be involved in this. Everyone's passionate about this. They wanted to do this. And you can tell listening to it.
Yeah.
And there's some moments in here that are so cool. And some of them are kind of unexpected too. Like my favorite track on here is called Sands of Time. And Rob's vocal is so beautiful in that track. It just kills me. Like listening to it, I'm like, wow, this is not the song that you would think I would rave about. But every time I hear it, I'm like, this is just gorgeous. I want to just listen to it over and over again. And there's a lot of songs on here, honestly, that are like that. Not in that exact way, but that are actually memorable that you want to go back and listen to. What are some of the other really cool songs that I wrote down? Oh, Death is awesome. What a cool song that is. You listen to the guitar, it's so like spooky and moody, and that sounds like it could have been on like one of Glenn's solo albums. What was that solo album he did in the 90s? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Baptism of Fire.
Yeah. It sounds like it could have been on there for some reason to me, but
Glenn Tipton solo album.
Yeah. There's cool stuff like that all over this album. This is just like a musician's dream, I feel like, listening to this. It's cool. But rating, I gave it a 7 out of 10, and it would be higher if it wasn't so damn long.
All right.
It's taxing.
Well,
it's kind of taxing to listen to, but I do really like it a lot. I think Nostradamus is a really cool concept. I think the topic is really cool. I love the historical significance to it. You can sink your teeth into it, and you can like kind of research about Nostradamus on the side while you're listening to it. And it's like, there's a lot of substance here. This isn't just throwaway music. This is something you can revisit. And every time you revisit it, it's going to hopefully do a little more for you because there's so much here to dive into. It's not just 10 songs on an album that you'll never listen to and forget about after 5 minutes. Like there's a lot of substance here to me. So 7 out of 10, Nostradamus. I like it.
I don't know, Logan, you mentioned that, and I'm going, I don't know how many albums I can listen to in one setting anymore, the whole thing. Back in the old days when I was young like you, I could. But
yeah.
First, now I'm listening to everything for shows. There you go. Cretan agrees with you, Cam. Cam is correct. The most double albums are taxing. Well, I'll be honest. If I listen to Frampton Comes Alive, I don't listen to the whole thing at once. I don't listen to this all at once. This is the way I look at this record. And Cam, thank you very much. I've got your rating down. This is how I look at this record. I think it's all coming back to me. Show me another band. You have to applaud Judas Priest. Their 16th studio album. We're in 2008. And after all these years, they're going to come out and take that creative stance, put out a concept record. How bold is that? And I totally agree. It sounds like creatively, they're all running on all their cylinders. Now, whether you like this or not, you might think it's too long. Break it up. I like all the little musical interludes. Some people think, Logan thinks
are cool.
On here.
Some are really cool.
It's good. This is a headphone album. You can't just sit and listen to it. You really have to immerse yourself into it and take it in, and maybe take it in bits and pieces. I applaud the band. I like this record. Is it a perfect record? No. It's not a perfect record, but I have to applaud them for what they did. What did Cretan say? Cretan said something up here that I totally agreed with. God, I have to go backwards. What did Cretan? I can't find it. Anyway, there's a lot in the chat. but basically that's kind of what he said, but that's what I agree with. I like this album. I have no problem with it. So I think I'm going to give this, I think I'm going to give it a damn 7 as well. I don't remember what I gave it. Do you guys remember? You watched the show today. What did I give it?
I want to say it was an 8 or a 7, but I don't know.
Probably somewhere in there. I think it's 7 or 8. Okay. For everybody in the chat, have you given me if you've given me your score, I have it. If you haven't given it to me, I don't. Give it to me now so we can tally it. And then we're going to look at the Elder. And because all we're trying to do, everybody, people watch this video, they can go and see if these albums are worthy for them to pick up if they haven't heard them. That's all this is about. Plus, we like talking music here on the Contrarians. So, is everybody giving me everything? Anything past 5 on this is concerning. Oh, good Lord. Real 0.00. I'd like to know why people are rating. Is it because you want them to do farming after midnight? Is that what you want them to do? Play farming after midnight? What? I don't get it. I think it's good. God, these guys are on fire. Come on. All right, I guess that's all we've got. All right, let's tally it up. Then we can talk about the Elder, which everybody in the chat can hardly wait. Sure.
Apparently, yeah.
God, apparently. All right, we came up with a 6.3. You're gonna break Gary's heart, everybody.
There's only so much I can do, you know.
I know you're doing all you can do. I don't know. Well, I'd say that's average, but you know, the chat room's very quiet, so I don't know what that means. Logan says it's too high. Well, whatever. To each his own. Being a young metalhead, I'm surprised you don't embrace it and cuddle up to it.
Yeah, you know,
wait a minute, Mike. You're going 8. Here. Wait a minute. You're giving it. Wait a minute. This might help. I'll take that 8. Webb's going 6.3. Is 6.3 is too high. Sorry.
Because I think the length is justified. If it was only 45 minutes, it wouldn't give you enough of a glimpse at what it is. There maybe you could, and what Dan was saying, you can shave off those intros, and that cuts out like 25 minutes right there. So that might be more palatable for some people, but it's still an hour and 20-minute record.
I just wonder,
Mind you, Cam thought one was it "Sands of Time" was his favorite song, and that's an interlude.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
There's some interludes that are awesome.
I was looking at it, I was like, I don't see that song, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Exactly. Neither. I was like, where the hell is he finding this song? I'm like, oh, it's an interlude.
Byron,
Shadows
did you
in
just?
The Flame is
I
awesome.
like a lot of the interludes. Honestly, I think the interludes are really cool on it.
No,
I think that's a typo.
I do like the interludes. I'm just saying, for someone who think this is too long or too blow, chop off the interludes just to get into the song.
I think I did that once, and it was okay, except for it was just kind of weird skipping in between, you know, because of the interlude's not there. All of a sudden, it kind of like halfway jumps in at the start. Then it's just kind of weird. But other than that,
a lot of the
it made it okay. But I don't know.
And I don't know that I enjoy all of them that much. I mean, you could probably lose 25 minutes getting rid of the songs that I don't really care for that much. And you could lose probably another 10 getting rid of the interludes that I don't care about too. But there's 3 or 4 interludes that I think they complement the following song a lot. Like they make the song better. Sure. So
it does kind of cripple the atmosphere if you get rid of the interludes, but it could save you some time if you're not into the album.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Yeah,
it's like I don't know if you guys heard the Sabotage album Street, but the narrated version where there's a sketch in between every song. Well, then the release that we all know only has the one sketch between the first and second song, but there's a narrated version. So maybe Priest can actually, release one just like Sabotage did, get out all the. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here, but there are 2 versions of that Sabotage album exists. Why not try to do it with this?
Wait a minute, I got to jump over to I'm watching this on my channel. I'm going to jump over to the Contrarians account. I'm going to see if that's the
I know this was
Byron.
Produced by KK and Glenn, and I just wonder if they had a producer, how much different it would have turned out,
Yeah.
Probably.
I think they
very
did a
different.
fine job.
Maybe you wouldn't have put it down to one disc, but it would have tightened it up a little. You know,
I think the production's good on it, honestly.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Or maybe
that
not,
is
maybe
the
it would've made it
real
worse.
Byron who said 10. But I thought, Byron, I thought you just said you gave it a 0. You never know. Now I have to check all these comments to see if it's pumping vinyl because I don't know.
Didn't Roy Z
Oh,
produce
geez.
Angel of Retribution? I know he has a writing credit on one of the songs, but I can't remember who produced Angel of Retribution.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking.
I gotta go look.
All right.
it was
Anyway,
Roy Z.
so now we've got a 6.4, and if we round it up, we have a 6.5 because it's a 6.46. So I guess I'm good with that. Creighton was right in line, like he said. He was right in line with that. All right, cool. Let's talk about the Elder, and then hold tight, everybody.
Gary was right.
Yeah, he was right.
Roy Z?
Roy Z did it. Yeah.
That album sounds great too, but I don't know how much he would have been. I think the production on Nostradamus is good, but it would have been very different if they would have had a guy in there. He might have been a lot shorter, maybe different direction.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
But
let's
moving
move
on
on.
to the-
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Moving on to
All
the
right,
Elder.
let's do the Elder because, God, I don't want to kill everybody in the comments. They're biting at, chomping at the bit. All right,
And I've
music
got
from the
the-
Elder is the 9th studio album by Kiss, released November 10th, 1981. It's on Casablanca, concept album. As we know, this was a quite a departure from the albums they had done before. This was a narrative concept conceived by Gene Simmons. It was a soundtrack for a film that never happened. So anyway, they brought back Bob Ezrin to do this, which I'm good with that. We're going to talk about that. We got Paul Stanley, of course, Gene and Ace Frehley's on here, and Eric Carr. So I'm going to start out with Gary. Gary, what's your thoughts on The Elder and your rating out of 10?
I really like The Elder too. It's always been a kind of a punchline in the Kiss catalog, but there's a lot of great songs on here. The atmosphere is cool again, just like Nostradamus. I have the version I have is the 2000 whatever remaster that has the original track listing, slightly different from what was released in 81. But I love Bob Ezrin's production, even if it is kind of just parroting what he did on the wall. Another thing that really Eric Carr and Ace Frehley are like two of the most beloved members of Kiss, and I think it's really cool to have this one album where they both play on. I think the timing was pretty bad for this being in 81, and it's no mystery. This was Ace's last album. You can just hear the turmoil and how he doesn't really want to be there. And it could maybe do with one or two other heavier songs. And, the concept kind of feels incomplete. But I think there's some cool songs on here. I love Just a Boy. I love Odyssey. Only You is amazing. Under the Rose is probably my favorite. I love how eerie sounding it is and just great. Dark Light, it's got a great solo bit, but Ace's vocals, the ad-libs he does are kind of weird. But it's nice to hear Ace get a song to sing on here. World Without Heroes is great. Amazing solo on that. Paul Stanley did that, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. The Oath is, the real introduction I had to this album, and I was like, damn, that's good. That is a heavy, Oath is awesome. Mr. Blackwell is probably my least favorite. I like the spooky bit in the middle with the choir and the bongos, but it's just a kind of a clunker of a song, but I still enjoy it. I think it's okay. And I love I and Escape from the Island. Yeah. Those are fantastic too. But there was another song written for this album, the Nowhere to Run off of Killers. I think if that had been on here, the album would have really benefited. But I still, as it is, I like the album a lot.
That would have been the best song on the album. I didn't even know that was written for the
Elder. There were a few that were written for the Elder. The Nowhere to Run.
Those four, I think.
All four of those?
All four of the tracks on Killers.
Well, I think they were written and then they decided that they didn't want to go in that direction.
Exactly. So those four songs weren't made for Killers. It was supposed to be what was supposed to be the Elder or not the Elder. But then like Bob Ezrin's like, yeah, I don't like those songs. Start from scratch, and then they made the concept of the Elder. It was just supposed to be a rock album, I guess.
He said, do a concept album. This is what you guys guys need to do.
That would have been great if some of those songs were on here. If I'm not wrong, Breakout off one of Ace's solo albums was written for this too. Or there was one that was like an evolution of Escape from the Island. And then I've heard too that there was a demo of Love's a Deadly Weapon from Asylum.
It was
from this.
You know what? I can hardly
Revenge
wait for
on,
the box
on
set
Car
treatment.
Jam on Revenge. That was like that's Breakout.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
Car
was-
Jam
that
on
was-
Revenge is Breakout. Yeah.
But I love this album. You know, going into it as a Kiss fan, everyone says it sucks, it's horrible, it's just a punchline in their catalog. But if you really sit down and listen to it and don't expect Kiss, there's a lot of great musical bits on here, and it's kind of misguided, but in some ways it sounds kind of mature. And I always really liked The Elder, and it's always been kind of an inside joke with my friends. Is like that you love The Elder. It's just you reach that level of Kiss fan, and it's got a cult following. I will give The Elder an 8. I love The Elder.
I love The Elder. All right, an 8, ladies and gentlemen. So if you haven't given me your rating, you can give it to me whenever I try. All right, Gary, thanks so much. Awesome. Throw it over to Dan. Dan, thoughts
All
on
right.
The Elder?
So The Elder. Kiss is my favorite band. So, but I was searching for, I guess, cassettes at the time, and I don't think I knew it existed. I knew how it looks like. I heard it was their worst album. So that's kind of what I was expecting to hear. And then I guess probably I heard it for the first time in 88, 89 probably was the first time. And like I said, I was expecting crap, and I was like, man, this is actually pretty good. Now, one of these a lot of people, like even Gary, and I'm not picking on Gary here, I'll only call this The Elder, but it is in fact called Music from The Elder, just like, the Black Album is not called the Black Album by Metallica, but we all call it The Elder. I never say Music from The Elder, only when I'm typing it, but I do like the reissue where they put the order back, but now I forgot. It's been so long, I forgot about how it sounded like. So I'm probably going to look for the original this on vinyl, but it's different. Now, Kiss can be full of shit, if you know what I mean there. Had this been a popular album, they would have been, well, we're proud of it. Just because it failed is the reason that they disowned this album.
Right.
But they're playing songs of it on the Kiss cruise and all that. Just a Boy is good. I am not crazy about the falsetto. I found out maybe 2 years ago that Odyssey is a cover. I did not know that. I forget who did it there, but there's a video of it on YouTube. And I think I love the music on Odyssey. I just don't think Paul should have been the one singing it. Only You is good, which was later covered by Doro. Under the Rose, I do not understand why people like it so much. I find it so sloppy and so staticky, and it's all one big mess sonically. Okay, I just don't understand what they're singing. I can't differentiate the words here. Dark Light is decent, not my favorite Kiss. I just think too much of Jaws. If you know, you know. There, A World Without Heroes, great ballad, great video, and made it even better on the Unplugged. I thought I saw them play it live at the convention tour in Montreal, and they played it, and everybody was like just paying attention. They weren't like singing along; they were there paying attention. It sounded like a very creepy song, and I loved it. Loved that version on Unplugged. The Oath, probably easily the heaviest song. That was song number 1, if I remember, on the original release there.
Yeah.
Mr. Blackwell, I'm going to go with Gary. I do not like that song. I do not like Stop and Go, like, dun, dun. It just, it does nothing for me. The only thing I find interesting is the little noises they put in between, dun, dun, like those little things there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about there. Escape from the Island, one of my favorite instrumental tracks ever. Man, that is so full of energy. The whole track is like, I don't care if it's instrumental, it is friggin' good. And
The siren.
Yeah, oh, everything on that song is so good. I was like, you know what, that should have been played live as a jam or something, like in later on there. Or I know Paul can't sing anymore. Well, why don't you do Escape from the Island? That would be interesting. And I do love I love and actually, I don't know if you guys ever watched, well, you probably can find on YouTube, but there's it was a Saturday Night Live competition TV show called Fridays, where they play The Oath. The Oath, the guitar solo is even longer and even better.
Yeah.
Sounds great. And then they do I and World Without Heroes, and that was actually pretty cool. So I like it. I don't hate it at all. To me, this is a winter album. I don't. It's one of those, put a fireplace, again, smoke a pipe in a bathrobe and just listen to it. But to me, I don't enjoy this album in the summer for some reason, but I love it in the winter because it's probably got that mood. So I'm gonna give it also an 8. It's
all right, 8.
But I did not grow up with it. I found out about it later on. I was like, people were telling me, oh yeah, it's not very good. I'm like, actually, this is actually not too bad. Sure, there's songs not as good as others, but overall, I thought it was fun. So, and
see, I had it when it came out.
Something different. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, I probably cut you off. I got this when it came out.
See, I was 10.
Perfect.
I was 10 years old at that time when it came out, so it wasn't until much later there. But yeah, there you go.
Awesome, cool. We got an 8. All right, we'll throw it over to the Elder. Elder, what you got? He's in space-time continuum problem. Can you hear me, Elder?
Now he's unfrozen.
I'm having that problem again.
Now you're here.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead. You're up.
All right. Okay, you ready for me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, being my last name is Elder, I was, of course, thrilled when this album came out. I was like, Kiss cut album with my name on it. And then, people not liking it so much, I was kind of bummed about it. But anyway, the thing I remember about, I think about this one is that it's just Kiss trying to run away from everything that they were known for, kind of the party anthems, the songs about girls and partying and, choruses, short to the point songs. And this wasn't that. Unfortunately, and you got to remember though that when this came out, you got to remember this is the band that a few years earlier was just giving us a Love Gun and stuff, and so and then they had some upheavals as a first album with Eric Carr, and so when you think about that, it's much like with never was, what's this band doing? What are they doing? This doesn't sound like them. Like you could, unlike Nostradamus, you could put that on and somebody who hadn't heard it would say, you need maybe a couple songs, but I don't know how many on here you could put on and people would think it's Kiss, the average Kiss fan. Am I frozen or can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
All right, I'm just frozen on screen. Okay.
Your mouth is permanently
okay. All right.
Open,
Oh man, why did it have to freeze like that? There you go.
There you go.
But there are some enjoyable moments. I do think that the track listing that started with The Oath and stuff was probably a wise decision because, like I said, you put this on, you hear Just a Boy at first, and it's just, I think even in hearing about like when they played this for record executives and stuff, there's like they were saying, "Where's the guitar? Where are the guitars?" So definitely. So there's just like I said, there's just things missing from this that aren't Kiss. They're just trying to do something different. But I do like a lot of this. My favorite one being Dark Light. I love that Ace Frehley song. I think great guitar solo on it. And then I like Escape from the Island, and that is actually there's a show around here called Monsters in the Morning on Orlando here, and they use that Escape from the Island as their closing theme because the guy's a big Kiss fan. He loves Kiss.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
And I love that song. I remember seeing also a lot of promotion for this. You know, like I remember seeing like I saw the Friday show, and that is on Kisstory or Kissology.
Kissology.
I mean, volume 2. If you're in the DVD set they did old, they were on they're not down. They did promote this album quite a bit. You know, they put out
A lot of it without Ace.
they're on Solid Gold. They played World Without Heroes. They had a video for that, an actual video for that song. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There was one performance that was without Ace. Yeah. They said he had the flu or something, but it was just they were just lip syncing I think.
Mm-hmm.
On that. I think it was at the Palladium or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, just didn't catch on. And so did you get my
No, I did not. No, what's your rating?
Oh,
What?
I'll give it a 7.5.
7.5.
Respectable.
Respectable. All right, cool. Thanks, Alder. Appreciate it. Sorry. We'll move on to Cam, get his thoughts on this. I don't know what his thoughts are on this record, so it'll be interesting to see. So let's do it. Cam, what's your thoughts?
All right, The Elder. This is a cool album. The first time I listened to it, I went into it kind of just low expectations. You know, everybody craps on it so much, it seems like. I was slightly pleasantly surprised. It's better than I think it gets credit for.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest thing I ever heard, and it's probably not even in my top 10 Kiss albums, but it's probably not in the bottom 5 either. It's, you know, it's decent. I do think the opening little intro thing is kind of pointless and doesn't really do nothing for me. I'm not big on what's it called? Just a Boy. Yeah, I'm not big on that either. Odyssey is all right. Only You is probably my favorite track on here. I love Gene's little bass line, especially in the chorus. That's such a good hook for a bass. I don't know why, but that's the most memorable thing about the song for me. And I just, every time I hear it, I'm like, yeah, this song is cool. I like it. Let's see. Under the Rose, that doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for me. Dark Light is pretty cool. I think that's a cool Ace track. It's like a little gem thrown in the album. It's cool to hear Ace singing on a track, especially when he was pretty much on the outs by the time this came along. So it's cool to hear him singing a song on the album. Let's see. What else we got? World Without Heroes is one of my favorites too. It's like I imagine, how many of you guys have seen the Heavy Metal movie, the cartoon?
Years ago.
I own it.
Okay.
Dan lives it.
Towards the beginning when he's doing the taxi thing and he's driving around town and he's in his apartment and everything, that track kind of reminds me of, like, it could be the background music to that scene for some reason, like smoky, rainy, like detective type deal. I don't know why, but it just gives me those vibes. It's a cool song. I like Gene's vocal on it a lot. And The Oath, obviously, awesome. That's a trademark, pretty well-known Kiss song. It's really cool. Probably pretty close to being the highlight of this album for me. And then Mr. Blackwell is okay. Kind of just an average Gene song for me. It doesn't do anything too crazy. Escape from the Island for me was I need to go back and listen to that. Every one of you guys has raved about that, and it did nothing for me. So I need to go back and listen to it again, because I couldn't even tell you what it sounded like. I need to go back and hear it again.
Listen to it while driving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I'll keep that in mind for sure. And Eyes a cool way to end the album. Pretty good. So, overall, it's not my favorite Kiss album, but I do think it's a cool little footnote in the catalog, and I don't think it's as terrible as everyone makes it out to be, and it's a 6.5 for me.
6.5. I accept that.
Anyone see the that Eye video?
I haven't.
I think so. From Fridays you were talking about?
Oh no. So there was I'm talking like maybe 10 years ago. There's a guy, I don't know who
from
he
the
is.
island is.
One bid on this unreleased Kiss video for Eye and spent, I don't know, let's say $500 on an auction, and he has it. But now it's on YouTube. Anyway, you can check it out. There was a video, or there is a video for Eye by Kiss. It was never released. You could see them like they're on, this part. They're doing that, and they're like, oh, okay, we're not releasing this here. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be there, but yeah, there's a video for it.
I might have seen it. Can't remember.
I don't know if I've seen it. I doubt
The
it.
stage kind of looks like a little bit like a little Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden, like icebergs and all. If I remember correctly, there.
I love Eye. It's such a great song, you
Yeah.
know. Like when I'm feeling down, that song's like tell me to believe in myself. It's great. It's amazing.
I love it. I no problem with it. I only have
One of my
two songs
favorite-
that I don't like. So
One of my favorite things about this album is you get I and Only You get Gene and Paul singing together.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
That's great when you get
I like that.
I wish
Yeah,
they
I
did
like
it more.
Yeah.
So did everybody in the chat give me their score yet? If you've given it to me, I've recorded it. If you haven't, I will take it. So you gave this a 6.5, right, Cam?
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, what everybody probably knows, I really love The Elder. This is one of my favorite Kiss albums, and of course I like the whole era with Peter Criss. Of course I do. That's the era. And it's just funny that I like this as well. The thing is, I like what I know. There's a lot of cocaine, that Bob Ezrin was living off cocaine. Whatever, I don't give a rat's ass. But the sound of this record is really good. The production is good. People always rave about Creatures of the Night. Oh, that drum sound. Ooh, ooh. Problem is with Creatures of the Night is that you don't have Ace Frehley guitar sound on it, for one. And I always identify Kiss, classic Kiss, with Ace. He is so easy to pick out and is so identifiable. So without Ace Frehley, you listen to Creatures, you could put anybody's vocals on it. The drums just sound like they're recorded in, they sound fine, but it doesn't sound anything like Peter Criss. There's no guitar on here that even remotely sounds like Ace Frehley. So really, Kiss kind of lost their whole sound. If you could, the whole record just sounds pretty slick, and it could be anybody playing on it. You just put Gene and Paul singing on it, and there you go. But that's the only identifiable thing. Now, the music from The Elder still sounds like Kiss. You've got so much Ace Frehley on here playing. Dark Star, I think, is absolutely wonderful. Where can you, huh?
Dark Light.
Oh, Dark Light. What did I say? Dark Star?
Dark Star.
Damn it! Isn't that Crosby, Stills and Nash? Yeah.
That's John Carpenter's first movie. Also, that's how I know it.
It's because I just got done watching it. But Dark Light, Jesus, I know the difference. Show me another Kiss song where Ace Frehley's just going to let it rip. And I want more Ace Frehley. I like it when Ace is just letting it rip. He knows how, and I've always praised Ace. Because the thing with Ace Frehley, I'm going to go on a tangent already, ladies and gentlemen, is he knew exactly what to play for a song. He had a beginning solo, the end solo, and almost his solos were like a song within a song. I think the guy was great. I've seen him now. He's not as great as he was, but hey, he's in his 70s lately. But back then, even on here, so this album to me does sound like a Kiss album, a proper Kiss album. Eric Carr, I think, is a wonderful addition. He's a great drummer, 100%. He doesn't have that swing like Peter Criss has. The whole thing that made the original Kiss so great is the fact that they had people from different, Ace Frehley just kind of out there, great guitar player, and you had the swing from Peter Criss. As we kept going, we lose all that. But this, I think, really does sound like a Kiss album. And it's like one of the last ones that really have that tonality. I like it. I like all the tracks on it. I think there's nothing on here that I listen to and makes me go cringe. There's no put your hand in my pocket, grab onto my rocket kind of lyric here, or plaster caster, grab a hold of me faster. There's nothing
I want
on
to
here.
put my log in your fireplace. There you go.
Right. There's nothing on it. It's kind of a serious record. The Oath is phenomenal. Fanfare is great. Just a Boy is great. Only You. All the Gene Simmons songs on here, I think, are
Good.
very, very memorable. And I think Gene sounds great on here because he's really singing instead of doing that whole Gene shtick.
The screaming and yeah.
But it was his project. It was his idea. So you better.
I know, but
you better back it up.
But World Without Heroes. Oh my God, what a great song.
And Andee, Grant, there's a killer solo from Ace on World Without Heroes. Really good.
Hell yes, it is. Freaking Ace Frehley.
No, it's Paul Stanley.
Paul did World Without Heroes solo.
Oh,
really?
Sorry.
He played the guitar on it?
Freaking Paul is the man.
Yeah,
He is the man.
I'm hosting.
I thought for sure that was Ace. That was Paul.
He does it in the video for World Without It, but I know. But he also Paul does it in the Unplugged.
And in the video, doesn't he roll around and play it?
That's cool.
Yes, he does. No, wait, that's you're confusing.
No, that's I Love It Loud. That's
I Love It Loud.
That's
over.
Paul doing.
But
is he wearing a pink shirt? I don't remember.
3 notes.
But he's rolling around on the floor wearing a pink shirt, right? Am I getting that?
You're thinking of Fire.
Well, I think I saw Paul Stanley running around in a pink shirt too, and they don't give him shit.
I didn't know Paul could even play that good. That was
and
pretty,
it is a great
he's a great rhythm player.
Yeah, he is a good rhythm player for sure.
Best Hard Rock and Trivia Show says best Paul solo ever.
Probably.
We're all praising the solo. That's a good
she wants a rocket. Exactly. Lyrics like that. I mean, there's nothing like it's like they grew up and they got serious to do this album. Now, had this came a lot earlier, let's say that my whole theory is this would have fit really well after Destroyer. Because, well, let's be honest. Destroyer, they threw everything in. It's almost like a peak in creativity-wise. Yeah. It sounds great. But then, they didn't like Destroyer when it came out either. It didn't do anything.
Nope. Not until death.
Exactly.
Unmasked didn't do them any favors. They had a lot of trouble after Unmasked, and then after this, it was just.
Well, I know, but if this came out after Destroyer, we might be looking at things differently. That's all I'm saying. The timing. It's all about timing.
Bob Ezrin wasn't as coked out during the Destroyers era, also, so you never know.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I think that the reissue, the way they presented it the way it's supposed to be is better. But I like Ace's work. I like Gene's work particularly. I think it's some of the best Gene stuff there. I've taken too much time. I've went down that road where on a tangent. I would give this is actually my second favorite Kiss. I swear to God. I love it.
What's your fave?
My favorite, I'd have to go with the debut.
Wow.
So you think this is
actually,
the best
no,
Kiss album
I take
of the
that
80s?
back. My favorite Kiss album is Hotter Than Hell. Then I like this. I don't know.
So this is your favorite Kiss album of the 80s?
100%.
That's interesting.
This is way better than Creatures. Come on. Creatures could be anybody. That's the only thing. I want that Kiss to sound like Kiss. And at least with Bob Ezrin in there, I mean, it's not that far off, And Ace is so predominant. Ace really sounds like, when I think Kiss, I think Ace Frehley's guitar sound. Just the way I do.
So if you're saying Bob Ezrin
Creatures was them going into the 80s, Creatures and Lick It Up aren't really that different of an album. They really
it's the same thing.
It's just them kind of stepping into the 80s. If they would have maybe taken the makeup off for Creatures, I mean, who knows how differently that album would have been accepted,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I like it. So whatever. You knew I was going to rate it high. I've talked about it before. I like it quite a bit. Now,
What
is
is
it
your
as
rating?
good as a Beatles album? No, but I'm going to rate it on a Kiss scale. I'm going to give it a 9. I mean, if we're going to rate it against the Beatles. So anyway, anybody else have it? I think I got everybody's score.
No Sergeant Pepper.
No Revolver, no Rubber Soul. That's different. But for Kiss, I think it's a great record. Had it sold a lot, they wouldn't be bad mouthing it.
Oh,
That's
for sure. I agree. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if it would have,
they disown anything that didn't be a hit, basically.
100% Cretan. So anyway, I guess I've got everything. All right, cool. Well, let's tally it up. I think.
But there was a band. There was a group of guys that did this Elder Live.
No, Creatures of the Night's better than Lick It Up. What?
I didn't hear Elders.
There was a group
Elder's
of guys
stuck.
that did the Elder live.
He's in a space-time thing again. Give me a
Yeah,
minute.
it was
This poor guy.
Damn, Elder, you all right?
I'm in the time continuum.
You
His question was,
Can you, okay, hold
if
on.
anybody can decipher
All right.
that.
Do you know sign? Can you sign it?
Okay, I'll do this real quick. There's a bunch of guys that did it for.
That's even worse. That's even worse.
Elder
did
needs a new modem. He needs to get off America Online.
For a cancer benefit. It's guys that were kind of in the Kiss orbit that have played maybe with Ace or something.
I may have heard about it. I
don't
know there's
know.
a book called Odyssey.
I've got the book.
Yeah.
It's a big book. It's great. Goes into detail. Anything you want to know about the Elder, it's covered. It's a fabulous
music
book.
from the Elder.
Okay, music from the Elder. Jesus, nitpicker.
But yeah, so I don't know if you heard me, but check that out.
You can at least could go up to 9600 baud, Elder. Maybe we should chip in and get him a modem.
No more Kofi. No more. It's all
You
about
remember
Elder's internet.
Remember when it was cool to have 9600 baud? You were like going, holy shit, really blazing. All right, here we go. Our final score. I got it tallied.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what he's saying. I'm going to go with a 7.6. That's what we've got.
Good.
So the Elder is 7.6. Nostradamus is a 6.5.
And I
The
realized
clear
too,
winner tonight is the Elder. Anyway.
I'm the only one that rated Nostradamus higher, right? What about Cam? What?
Yeah.
I rated Nostradamus higher, slightly though. 7 versus 6.5.
Right. Well, it is.
But
what
we've
it is.
had a lot more time to digest the Elder than Nostradamus. Let's all meet up in 20 years here, and
It might be different.
If the Elder was an hour and 40 minutes, I don't know.
No,
It could very well be better
good
than
point.
Nostradamus.
I'm kind of bored of it by the end of it, and it's half the length of Nostradamus. Yeah. I like
Well, my okay, Keith got a lot out of this show. Well, my takeaway from this show is I really need to go shopping for a smoking robe and pipe.
Yeah. That's
Good,
right.
Keith. I'm glad you got something out of it.
nice, Keith.
All right, kids. Well, I think we can wrap this dog up. The clear winner. Well, they both pretty much. It was a tough. Well, no, the Elder one. Damn it. Let's be honest. In the comments, we do want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. The Elder over Nostradamus, and let us know what you think of over all of them. Hard Rockin' Trivia gets a Nostradamus gets a 2. He's still giving his scores. All right, that's good. No one wins tonight. We have Byron. We have a winner. The Elder. Come
One
on,
more
man.
thing I just thought of.
Go ahead.
This was the last Priest album with KK and the last one with Ace. So it was kind of that explosion that did in the guitar players.
Yeah.
Could
That's
be.
pretty wild, isn't it? That's right. Listen to Cretan, everybody. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the Contrarians, please do. I want to thank the panel. We're going to wrap. We've been at almost an hour. I want to thank the panel tonight. Gary, Dan, the Elder, and Cam. If you'd like to be on these shows, we'd love to have you. We have a Patreon, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to support the channel that way. And there's always stuff coming out there. A lot of the shows come out in advance to when they actually air. We also have a Ko-fi, buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. Also, we take donations. We had some donos last night, or was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Well, what day is today? It was last night. We had a dono.
Thursday today, yeah.
$20, man, from William Walker.
It's Thursday.
I know, but last night we had a $20 dono from William Walker. Bless his soul. Anyway, we'll be back. I want to do more of these Battle of the Rocks live, so I don't know. We've got one next week, I think. I might want to do it live. Let's see. All right, everybody. If you like us doing these live shows, let us know in the comments. I do want to know. I get a lot more out of it if we're doing it live. I don't get anything out of it if I'm recording it. So, all right. Wrap it up. We went an hour. Gentlemen, we will see you, and keep it clean, Cretan. That's right. Do what Cretan says and smash that like button. All right, everybody. We'll see you.
Later.
Take care.